Welcome back, our dear viewers, and to shed more light on Egypt's economic progress and its path towards the economic development and sustainable development. We are very much delighted to be joined here in the studio by Engineer Mostafa Nagary, the Deputy Head of the Exporters Association. Thank you so much, Engineer Nagary, for joining us for tonight.
Thank you for the invitation.
It's our pleasure. Sir, how far Egypt actually has succeeded in achieving a tangible economic progress in the past few years?
I think that the figures are showing that Egypt continue to have a tangible achievements in for economic growth. And in the last 2 weeks, Egypt have climbed 5 places in the Fitch index, which I think it was a sign of the economy development which have been created in the last 4 or 5 years, if we can say. We see that as a business people or exporters that the figures are showing continuous increase. I think that if we just have to mention that since June 2024 until March 2025, I think there was an increase of 31% than the same period in the previous years, which is a good sign for increasing the exports. As we all know that there is a strategy in the state, and we have to reach up to $100 billion by 2030. And I think we are on this road because most of the sectors are achieving improvement and the increase in their exports, benefiting from the monetary policy which was raised by the Central Bank of Egypt with the cabinet to try to stabilize more or less and to have a flexible rate of the US dollar against the Egyptian currency, which have succeeded a lot. So we have seen for more than 1.5 years there is a stability exchange rate for the Egyptian pound, which give the trade and the investment a sort of long-term agreements, if we can say. So that's why the foreign investments have came more and more for the last 2 years, and we can say that the reserve of the dollar in the Central Bank of Egypt is always gaining more and more month by month, and we have reached up to $48 billion. So Egypt is able to pay for the loans which have been debted for the last 3 years, and we are on a stable environment for the investment. I think that we all feel that we are going on the right track. We still have to work more and more, but the competitiveness in general in the economy and the investment is doing much better. So we always say that the state is rising a slogan, investment for exports. So this is based on several columns. One is the legislations, one is the tax rules, the tax new law, the labor new law, which was mentioned 2 weeks ago. So everything is going on a stable environment to try to attract more and more investors, and that's why we have seen in presentation that His Excellency Dr. Badr Abdelati was joining a meeting for the AmCham, and he was trying to attract more American companies to try to come and merge in most of the mega projects of the country, and also to try to merge with the supply chain, the global supply chain, which Egypt is having a good access at the time being, because We have mentioned before that there is remapping for the industrial hubs in the world. They are coming more and more closer to the markets to avoid obstacles of the supply chain. So he was trying to invite them and to recall to come and to merge in most of the mega projects and to try also to benefit from the industrial facilities which is given by offering industrial zones spread it in Egypt. So I think that the situation is more attractive for any foreign investors to come nowadays.
Yes. I would take it from here, as you have kindly mentioned, Engineer Nagary, that Fitch did increase our position by 5 positions. To what extent that would have a positive reflection on the FDI as well as the trade attraction to Egypt, to attract more foreign direct investments as well as more trade to come to the country?
You know, such indexes and such announcements is always giving a good sign about the good relation between the state and the financial international funds. So if we have to mention that the EBRD, let us say, is financing a lot nowadays in Egypt for the green economy and is focusing mainly on the SMEs. So they have a program which is called the GEFF, financing about 140 billion euros as a fund with a very attractive interest rate plus cashback, which means that the investor will benefit from the fund and he will be paid back a part of this fund. So this goes only for the green economy, because as we all know that there is CBAM issues about the carbon borders, about the carbon emissions and so on. Everybody's trying to minimize the emissions of the carbons. Otherwise, we are going to pay penalties on our exports to the European Union starting from 2026. So many of the entities and the companies and the services in Egypt is benefiting from such financial initiatives to try to minimize the carbon emissions and to try to be more competitive. So that's why I think that such calibration of the economy, if you can say globally, is attracting more and more financial institutions and financial international banks to try and to pump more money for investors to try to benefit from this situation.
Yes. Sir, what factors actually contributed to Egypt's advancement on the Fitch Economic Index?
It was, you know, it is equation. It is, as we say, this is equation regarding the devaluation and the inflation and the stability of the foreign currency against the local currency, the exports, the trade, the facilities, the improvement and the facilities which is giving on the trade basis, either through the ports or the inland roads, how fast the country is operating in the trade sector, and how much minimizing the steps which have been taken before. We have to mention also that His Excellency Hassan Al-Khatib, Minister of Trade and Investment, is hosting, a program to try to minimize a lot of steps which have been taken, so it will save a lot of time and save a lot of money. And he had the equation that he will save about $2 billion every year according to these new programs which will facilitate import and export, which we call this the wings of the trade in general in every country. So it should be healthy. We should always depend on two healthy wings, the exports and the imports. So I think that it is doing fine now. A lot of electronic documents have been issued by the exporters, which are saving a lot of steps and time. I think that the ports have been improving the activation and the services, and this is saving a lot of money and a lot of dollars, because we have been before suffering from paying a lot of dollars to either to the shipping lines or to the port authorities, according to the delay in either releasing or exporting the commodities. So this nowadays we are focusing day by day. It is improving a lot. I think that the standards of the Egyptian ports and the airports are improving a lot. We have seen that there is a program in the state, to try to manage the airports. They are offering some airports for foreign operators, so they try to increase the number of visitors and try to save time. This is all goes to the strategy which will help trade and will help the tourism and will help all the sectors which is affecting at the end the global economy of Egypt.
Yeah. Actually, how does Egypt actually is planning to sustain or further to improve its economic ratings in the future?
It depends about each sector. Okay. So always the cabinet is, the ministers are having open doors, as we say, to all the business people and NGOs, businessmen associations and federations of either Chamber of Commerce or industry. They are always in discussion to try to solve whatever obstacles and try to give them all facilities to increase their business and their trade. So I think that sectors like building materials have been doing a very good job for the last 2-3 years. Sector like the fertilizers and the fresh agriculture products, the agri-fresh products, the processed food, the textile as well. They are all doing a good job, because Egypt is having, as we say, a good competitiveness rate among the world and against all the competitors, if we are saying. So we have seen that a lot of investors coming from Far East are investing in the textile, while 10-15 years ago the textile industry was located in Asia, but now they started to move and they come more closer to the markets. So a lot of Chinese companies, a lot of Indian companies, a lot of Korean companies, Japanese companies, they are coming. Indonesian companies as well, they are coming to invest more and more in the textile sector. We have seen also the announcement of His Excellency Minister of Agriculture that the exports of the fresh products are increasing year by year, and by coming week he will host a meeting with 7 of the ministers of agriculture in Africa, because Africa also is a part of our mission and vision for the increasing our economy. So they will talk about the strategic crops and how we can work all together in one pool to try to minimize imports from outside the continent. So I think this would be a good step. Egypt is under study for the French wheat to have a hub in Port Said, so the French wheat can be stored in this hub and re-exported to several areas in the continent as well. So I think everybody is looking for Egypt as a good place for industry, to invest for industry, to invest for trade, to invest for services as well.
As the industrial production has witnessed actually a distinguished leap, how do you estimate actually the investors made by Foreign Minister, the invitation by Foreign Minister Badr Abdel-Ati for a number of American companies actually to expand their investment in Egypt?
I think everybody is following what is happening nowadays in the whole world. So
Indeed.
there is still economical battle, if we can say, between the US and China, another battle between Russia and the European Union, another battle between India and the European Union.
Yes.
So there is always battles, and every country is trying to have a share in the cake of the trade or the economy. So I think that we have to calculate our efficiency and competitiveness in Egypt. I think we are doing better, and I think that some of the American companies are, of course, are here because, you know, there was this custom import duties barriers which President Trump have said in the beginning, and Egypt was only counted for 10%, which was one of the least strips in the world. And of course that the trade between Egypt and the US is increasing a lot. But what we can sell to them is, you know, just it's not a big list, if we can say, but at least that we have increased our export of textile, benefiting from the Quiz agreement, and there is a lot of benefits which we can through some programs like the GIS or others, which can give more activities to be exported from Egypt to the US. From US we import a lot of soybean, of course, and there is a lot of discussion between the two sides that to try to localize some of this agriculture in the new agricultural lands, reclaimed lands, which is taking place day by day. I think that Egypt, as I mentioned before, that is not playing a national role in increasing the food safety for our people only, but if we increase our land and our production of food, we are trying to help the whole world, because there is a food crisis everywhere. So I think that Egypt is playing an international role actually by increasing the food production and trying to minimize imports. So they are trying to replace some of the imports, like increasing a part of the wheat, increasing the production of soya, bean, some oil seeds like the sunflower and so on, which Egypt used to import a lot for the last 20-25 years. So now we have the better, I think, possibilities to increase our local production and try to minimize the imports. And this not only goes in agriculture, but even in the industry. There is, of course, a slogan for localizing the industry in Egypt and trying to merge, and we have seen even the normal people are seeing a lot of Chinese cars, automotive sector is moving very fast nowadays in Egypt, and you can see that there is some factories who are manufacturing and some factories who are assembling. But at the end, it is good for the trade, it is good for expanding the varieties in front of the consumers, and the competition at the end, we say that it is to the side of the consumer.
Indeed. So what role does diplomacy play in enhancing Egypt's economic ties with the global powers, from your point of view?
As we mentioned before, that Egypt have been always keeping a same distance with all the global economics and the mega economics all over the world. So we have good relation with China, we have good relation with India, we have good relation with the States, we have good relations with the European Union, and now we are focusing for Africa. We always consider, or the whole world consider, Egypt is a gate for Africa. Europe always say that if you want to go to Africa, you have to go through Egypt, because we have, it's an institutional country. We have a sort of laws, and we have a great experience in several fields, like medical services, like water, control, like the infrastructure. We have been talking before about the decent life program, which have been implemented in Egypt by His Excellency President Sisi, to try to improve the quality of life for a lot of villages in Egypt. And Egypt, by this project, is able to do the same in Africa. So I think that the European Union is trying to depend on Egypt in trying to improve a lot of villages in Africa, because a lot of companies in Egypt are able to increase the infrastructure in other villages in Africa, and this will connect Egypt more and more with the African countries.
Yes. So do you consider Egypt actually to be a gateway for African markets and Middle Eastern markets as well?
Of course, Middle East is as we say, one of the most richest markets in the whole world. So it is, the consumption is very high. Facilities and services are still needed there. They are improving, of course, the quality of life, production, and so on. But at the end, Egypt is something different, because I think that we are the biggest market in the Middle East. It's more than 120 million consumers, and at the end we are having a lot of good infrastructure for investment. So Egypt was chosen as one of the best places in 2024, one of the best places in Africa and MENA, in the Middle East, to invest. So Egypt and South Africa and Morocco, I think, but Egypt was on the top of that list, as we say that always we have better services. We have more than 15, 20 seaports in the country, which I think is helping a lot, either from the Red Sea or the Mediterranean. So services are always available. We have, of course, some challenges according to the lack of water, which we are facing for the last decade. But I think that by the efforts of Ministry of Irrigation and Water Resources, they are doing very good work at the time being. So they are helping in increasing the reclaimed land to produce more food, trying to afford water for industrial services. So I think there is it's harmony. I think a good harmony between ministers at the time being, much better than before.
Yeah. Sir, could you shed light on Egypt's ongoing efforts to enhance the training partnerships through signing memos of understanding with South Korea, taught train technicians on maintaining the electric vehicles and gas?
The training, of course, is a sort of cooperation which have been taking place since the last 10 years. So I think that not only South Korea, we have a lot of programs, but of course we have to mention about South Korea. It's for the train technicians and so on. But also we have a program with Russia for the Daba nuclear plant, that there is also I think more than 120 Egyptian technicians have been trained in Russia, especially to try to help in operating this unit at the time of launching. There is a lot of training programs done with Holland, with Norway, in the water and in the fisheries and in ship manufacturing. There is a training with India, of course, in the IT department. We are always merging with India in that. We are doing a great job. And more that in Africa, the Afro-Exim Bank is doing also a great job in helping finance support training for the Egyptian entities to train Africans for trade and for industry and for agriculture. So I think that training is is one of the main channels which is very important for to try to merge in the economy at the end. It is a good start to have this program.
Engineer Nagary, how does Egypt's partnership with Russia on the Dab'a nuclear power plant support its energy strategy?
I think that this project is very promising. As we say that, of course, we need this project since many years, but I mean it took the proper time to start. On 12-15 they started the project. I think it's going very fast. It is going on the schedule. I think Egypt is ready to have more than nuclear plant, not only on the Mediterranean, it could be also in the Red Sea. But it is a good start. I think that everybody is waiting for the production of this electricity and of the water as well, because we are waiting for water to try to help in industry and in irrigation.
Yes. Sir, the Ministry of Planning, Economic Development and International Cooperation announced that Egypt's gross domestic product, the GDP growth rate continued to rise in Q4 of the fiscal year 2024-2025, reaching about 5% compared to just 2.4% in the same quarter of the previous year. What's your take on that, and what indications does this give?
It always reflects the tangible achievements which have been taken in the last 2 to 3 years. So since we have a stable exchange rate for the Egyptian pound against the foreign currencies, we all started to feel more relaxed. I think this is the clear mirror for your economy. So after 2 years now, we have a stable exchange rate. Moreover, I mean, for the last 2 months, the Egyptian currency have gained more. It's now moving around 47, 48, which I think it's about 4-5% less than what we have seen in 2024. It was touching 50 pounds. So I think this indication is giving a very good sign about the economy. We can say that we expect more for the GDP, and we are expecting the exports to reach more than $40 billion by the end of 2025 for the non-petroleum. With the petroleum, of course, it will be much more, but we are on the right track. So we feel all signs are giving positive for the local investors and of course for the foreign investors as well.
From your point of view, sir, what more should be done by the state here? What more incentives should be given in order to attract more foreign direct investment in the coming phase?
I think that the tax system, it's not bad, it's much better than before, but still some problems for some investors about that. There is, of course, numbers of closed factories at the time being, and we have to rework or reoperate these factories. They mentioned that there are about 10,000 factories shut down, and for several reasons. But at the end, I do believe that His Excellency Kamel al-Wazir can have a solution for that, to reoperate and these factories, because yeah, it's not a small number. So at the end, that we believe that financial initiatives also should support investors to continue and to try to expand their investments and their production. So any project needs a stable environment of legislations, needs a clear tax system, needs financial initiatives which you can put him on the same step as other manufacturers all over the world, but we have the rebate program, the export rebate program, which is trying to help the exporters more and more to be compatible, and at the end we see that from the results. There is increase in the exports. What we are trying to do now is to try to increase the export unit in each sector. So let us say that if you are exporting in the building materials, okay, so you are let us say exporting ceramics, okay, so if you are going to export ceramic at $4 or $5 per square meter, you have to have added value to, so you can export it with 6 or 7. So at the end, every sector is asked and called to try to give a plan how to add value for these products which we are doing here, because at the end we are benefiting from the power of Egypt. We are still on the low level of that. Still the labor cost is less than other countries and so on. So at the end we have to benefit more and to try to increase the export unit in all the 13 sectors. Every sector is needed to try to increase. So you can even export the same quantity but with a higher value. So this is a strategy also which I think that the export councils of Egypt is playing a big role to try to increase that.
Yeah. What role, sir, does political stability play in attracting trade and investment?
We have seen that, of course, the area is not stable at all, and everybody is hoping to try to stabilize the situation in Gaza and in Palestine in general. And we always focusing on day by day what is happening, and we respect all the efforts of Egypt and His Excellency President Fattah al-Sisi, what he's doing to try to solve this big crisis which is affecting the whole area. So at the end, of course, geopolitics crisis is very negative at the time being. That's why we always say that Egypt is improving while the situation, the geopolitical situation is not that easy. But at the end, we expected that if solutions will come to the sake of the people of Gaza and the people of Palestine in general, we believe that the situation will be much more stable, and it will give more relaxation for increasing investments and production and trade at the end.
Indeed. Sir, how does Egypt's trade strategy is aligning with its economic developmental plan as well?
I think that, as I mentioned, that nobody can work alone in this world. I think that we say that the world is a small village at the time being.
It's getting smaller every day.
Yeah, but at the end we have seen that Egypt have been merging in a lot of agreements, trade agreements with the mega economical blocks in the world. So we have seen that we are now member in the BRICS. We are on the same time having the free trade agreement with the European Union, with the African countries. So I think that Egypt is having a great history of trade agreements with many of the allies and the whole world, and that's why we see that companies from everywhere are now located in Egypt. I cannot hide to say that there is a lot of inquiries for industrial lands, and Egypt is trying to afford, I mean, year by year, a lot of new industrial zones and industrial lands for the request. So there is now a list of investors trying to come to Egypt and waiting to allocate industrial zones for them, which have never been heard before.
Yes. Doctor, actually, in what ways is Egypt integrating into global and regional supply chains?
The location of Egypt is, as we always say, is terrific. I think we are centralized in the trade legs, if we can say, because the trade legs have a certain routes. If it's coming from east, from South Asia, and it's going to Europe, or from Europe vice versa, and so on, or either from Africa to Asia. It all goes through Egypt. So Egypt is, as we say, Suez Canal is controlling about 20% of the trade, of the world trade. So at the end, improving the efficiency of the seaports, which we see nowadays, is accelerating and is trying to help more and more for that. So we have seen a lot of logistics areas nearby the ports. It is helping to for maintaining either import or exported commodities and trying to upgrade. So we are not considering now the stores is as only a place to store. No, you can benefit and having upgrade the product. You can repack or you can improve. So at the end you have to add added value to the product which you are exporting. So I think that we are in the supply chain doing a good job according to the services which we are giving, the location as well, and Egypt is also a big importer of several items like wheat or commodities mainly, or beef. So at the end the services are available and are improved. So we see now that the strategic stocks of several main food items is more than 5 months in the country. So this is, it came through having a good storage and silos and good supply chain, even domestically. So we feel that there is a stability. We have never seen such of a lack of any strategic item to the people. We are focusing on that. So everything is stable at the time being internally. We hope that the situation in Gaza could be solved very fast in a justice way, we can say. So at the end that we feel that the area is stable, because everybody need to work more and more.
Yes. Finally, Engineer Nagary, what more should be done as we wrap up our episode in order to attract more foreign investment and to increase our export, as well as you are the deputy head of the Exporter Association. What more should be done in order to achieve that?
I think that if we can say, of course, we mentioned training. We need to train more and more our local manufacturers. We need to attract foreign investors by offering them more attractive laws for taxes and for the labor laws. I think that to try to afford for them industrial lands more and more. So it always needs improvement in the infrastructure. So we should go into parallel ways. I think there is a lot of programs which is over from the government to the investors, and we can see that they are coming more and more. But at the end, the geopolitics problems in the area is stopping a little bit. We hope for more.
Hope we will find actually the solution
for more. And that's why all the ministers, we are always calling for to try to attract the investors to come to Egypt. This is a part of their work, to try to attract more and more investors to come. Egyptian business people are increasing their knowledges, and they are always participating in foreign fairs and B2B meetings everywhere. So we have seen that there is a lot of movement at the time being, and I think that as we mentioned before, that 2025 as an economical year for Egypt will be much better, and it will be good start. And for the last 4-5 years, hopefully the economy will be much better.
Hopefully. Engineer Mostafa Nagary, Deputy Head of the Exporters Association, always a pleasure. Thank you, so much, sir, for your precious input and for being our guest for
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
Our dear viewers, that will bring us to the end of this edition of the Daily Debate. Many thanks for watching.